Today we're going to have a little bit of fun calculating inventory costs using the periodic method here. And ultimately, this is what we want to know. We want to know what is the cost of our merchandise inventory under FIFO, LIFO, and weighted average, and what is the cost of the merchandise sold under FIFO, LIFO, and weighted average. The first thing we're going to do is look at our setup here. We have a beginning amount in inventory. We have and then 3 purchases after that: March 10th, August 30th, and December 12th. Okay, so how we're going to approach this is we're first going to calculate the cost of merchandise available for sale. And you can see here all I've done is copy this information over to here so that I can come up with the total for each one of these. So I need to know, if I had 1,800 and each of those cost $108 a piece, that layer of inventory cost $194,400. And I'm just going to drag that formula down, and we can see how much each one of these cost. Okay. Now the other thing I'm going to do is we're going to total up how many that we have. We have 8,000 of whatever this is we're selling. The total cost of whatever it is we're selling is $908,000. Okay, so we have 8,000 units with a cost of $908,000. This is the cost of our merchandise available for sale. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on FIFO first. So let me just put FIFO right here. Okay, we can approach this a couple different ways. I'm going to first calculate the cost of the remaining merchandise inventory. Okay, under the FIFO basis, that means that the first things that we had are the first ones to go out. Okay, first ones purchased, first ones sold. That means that our ending inventory then has to be made up of the more recently purchased items. Okay, so if that is the case, and we have 2,000 units remaining. I guess I need to put that on here. Let's go ahead and put that down here. We have 2,000 units in inventory. Okay, we're asking ourselves, what is the cost of those 2,000 units that are still sitting in our inventory? As we said, under the FIFO method, those 2,000 units have to be made up of the newer purchases because the first purchases were already considered sold. So let's look here, our newer purchases. We have 60 units that we bought at 120. Okay, and then we're trying to get to 2,000, so we need an additional 40 units. Those 40 units had to cost $116 a piece. Okay, so again, this right here, these 1960, we're assuming they are still sitting in our inventory at 120. We're grabbing 40 more out of these 2,000 that cost $116. So let me label this ending inventory so we know what we're doing here. Okay, the ending inventory. Let's go ahead and do some multiplication here. This is going to equal 1960 times 120,000. Make our column wider and do that for both of them. We're going to add up those amounts. And let's just go ahead and show that this is 2,000 as well. Okay, put some underscores here. Okay, we have 2,000 units left, and the value of those 2,000 units is 239,840. Okay, so that is actually the answer for our merchandise inventory under the FIFO method, 239,840. Okay. Now that we have ending inventory, we can calculate the cost of merchandise sold. That's our next thing, merchandise sold. We know that our total amount available is the 908,000, and we're going from the available amount going to subtract the cost of merchandise sold. Okay, so here we know the available amount is 908. 3 zeros. Make this column wider as well. Okay, And we know that the cost of merchandise, the ending inventory is 239,840. So we can do a subtraction. 908,000 minus this gives us the cost of merchandise sold under the FIFO method. Okay, let's just think about the logic of what we did right here. We know everything we had available for sale, 908,000. These items could only have one of two endings. Okay, either it is still there or it's not. Those are your only choices. So we calculated the cost of what is still there. So the difference between everything we had and what is still there has to be the cost of what we sold. Okay, that's the logic on that one. We could, if we wanted to, reverse the way we calculated this. We could say that we had 6,000 that we sold. You have 8,000 here, 2,000 left. That means we sold 6,000. And we could go through this process picking out the 6,000 and going from the top because they're first in, first out, and get the same answer if we wanted to. Okay, so there's FIFO. Let's find another spot over here. I'll just come right below it here, and let's do the LIFO. Okay, we're going to calculate ending inventory first, just like we did before. Okay, so make that bold. We still have to come up with 2,000 units that are in ending inventory. Under LIFO, though, the last ones to come in are the first ones to be sold. That means our ending inventory is made up of these earlier costs. They're the ones we didn't sell. Okay, so we have 18,000 units that were purchased at 108. We need another 200 units that were purchased at 110. Where did I get that? Again, up here under LIFO, these are the ones that are sold. The ones up here are the ones that are still remaining. So we have 18,000 at 108, and then we're going to pick 200 left at 110. So let's do the math on this again. 18,000 times 108 gives us that amount. Let's drag it down a little bit. Okay, we're going to add those two numbers together. And let's go ahead and add these together to show we got the 2,000. And put some borders on this. Okay, so under LIFO, our 2,000 units have an ending inventory value of $216,400. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in here, 216400. Okay, we're going to do the same calculation for cost of merchandise sold. It is going to be the 908,000, and we are going to subtract the $216,400, and that will give us cost of merchandise sold. Okay, so 908 minus the 216,400 is 691,600. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that in here. And we now have the cost of merchandise sold and the cost of our ending inventory for the LIFO method. Next, we're going to do the weighted average. Okay, let's come back up here and look at what we have. We have 908,000 in total value for 8,000 units. We can just take this 908. Let's see, 908, 1, 2, 3 more zeros. We're going to divide it by the 8,000 units to get an average cost. Okay, so the math here, that divided by that. Oops, I just clicked on the wrong one. Let's see, let's make this I7. Okay, now we have that. I'm going to go ahead and extend this to make sure, see what our decimals would be. Okay, so in using pennies, it's actually $113.50. What we have done is we have come up with the average cost per unit. Okay, now we're going to use that average cost to calculate both our ending inventory and our cost of merchandise sold. Okay, our ending inventory is still 2,000 units, and we're saying the average cost is $113.50. So then the ending inventory has to be 2,000 times $114. It's not 114, I'm sorry, $113.50. I'll fix that in a second. Let me go ahead and give some more places to this. There we go. Okay, so there's our ending inventory. It is $227,000. Okay, let me go ahead and bold this so you know where this is the average cost area. Okay, that was ending inventory. We can do the same calculation to calculate the cost of merchandise sold. So we have $908,000, and we're going to subtract the $227,000. Make both of these bigger too. Okay, so that minus this right here, that is the cost of merchandise sold under the weighted average method. Okay, hopefully that clears things up a little bit for you. Let me just recap a couple things. Again, FIFO is first in, first out. That means that the very first ones that you purchased are the very first ones to be sold. So your ones that are being sold are going to come from, these earlier inventory amounts. That means the ones that are remaining are coming from the later inventory amounts. Under LIFO, last in, first out, the first ones that you're selling are coming from these newest amounts. That means the ones that are remaining are coming from the earlier inventory amounts. So that's why our inventory is starting out with this 1,800 right here, and then we're going down to pick up 200 from the next category. Under the average cost method, of course, we calculated an average, and we could use it for both calculations. We took the 2,000 times the average cost to get the ending inventory. We subtracted to get the cost of merchandise sold. We could prove this another way also. If we had 8,000 units and we sold have 2,000 remaining, that means we sold 6,000. We could take the 6,000 and multiply it times the $113.50, and we would get the exact same number that we got right here. Okay. Anyway, hopefully that helps. Shoot me an email if you need some more help. I'd be glad to work things out with you.